Hello, all. I hope you're all good today. Today, we are going to continue a video that we did before. The video's link is in the description below. That video was on parametric design introduction, where we used a basic tool of parametric design, and the instructor was Santrupti Das. Today, again, we're going to do a video on parametric design, but we're going to take it to the next level. The next level means that now we're going to make it very, very relevant for architects. And by a real world example, we're going to show what difference parametric design and parametric design tools can really make in making your life so easy. And to do that, we have with us Santrupti Das. To introduce Santrupti is just passed out almost from the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. She did a great thesis and she used parametric design in her thesis. To tell you about her, she's a very active person. She took part in a lot of societies in college, and she's a origami enthusiast. She's done great work in origami. And by the way, her interest in parametric design started with when she wanted to explore origami more and more. So today, I'm so glad to have you, Santrupti. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm good.
So what is the new that we're going to do today?
So today we'll take one case example and then look at it with a conventional viewpoint of how we as architects design on a 3D modeling software and how that can be done parametrically as well. So
Right.
we'll do the same thing in both the ways and
Right.
then see what are the differences and what are the advantages we get from parametric design.
Great. So are we going to use some tool? Are we going to you going to show us your screen? Tell us about it.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to share my screen right now.
Okay.
It's we're going back to that same screen, which is Rhino and Grasshopper.
Great. So just to give a, for people who watching landing directly to this video, though you should see the previous video before, but Santrupti, if you could give a little brief on Rhino and Grasshopper.
Okay. So Rhino is a 3D modeling software, which can also be used for drafting, and it's got a renderer of its own as well. So the difference between modeling on AutoCAD or on SketchUp versus doing it on Rhino is that you get a better curve. The curves are much better. The nerve curves are
Nerve
much better
curves.
in
Absolutely.
Rhino.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
And then
basically it's an
Grasshopper.
advanced version of AutoCAD with 3D. And but
Right.
the magic sauce is Grasshopper. So tell us about Grasshopper.
Right. So Grasshopper is a coding software. Um, it's a parametric design software to say. So it's going to be that interface. If you can see here, there are two interfaces.
Right.
The one on the right is Grasshopper,
Right.
where we can add any command like that. We can type commands in, and it's got a plug and a sort of a input and an output junctions. So if I do, let's say, um, a move command, then a move command asks me for a geometry and then a translation vector, and then things keep happening like that.
Right.
So that is what Grasshopper is currently. The
So before you go on, Santrupti, for all the viewers watching this, I want to tell them very clearly that Grasshopper, if you have not done before, it's going to be a little counterintuitive, or it's going to be a little different for you. But once you understand how this platform works, how the engine works, how Grasshopper works, it's going to be really really making your life easy. So watch on till the end, because every step is going to be described for you to understand how this new paradigm of design is going to work. So Santrupti, go on.
Actually, to say so, Grasshopper is very logical.
Okay.
More than it is technical, it's logical. So
Right.
if you say that I have 10 points and I want to make lines between those points, I have 10 points on one side and 10 other points on the other side, and I want to draw a line. So you know that the line has a start point and an end point, and you have to join them.
Right.
So when you think of it logically, that is how Grasshopper works. And most likely, if you just type out exactly what you want, for example, if you want to offset, you type out offset, you get all these options of what kind of offset do you want.
Right.
Or if you type out, let's say, loft, you get all the different loft options that are possible,
Understood.
right? So here for
but
this,
but but just for the viewers, what you type on the right side on the Grasshopper is going to be displayed on the left side in Rhino. So Grasshopper is not
yes, so
a.
the preview is on
Yes.
the on Rhino.
So there's a concept in computer called what you see is what you get. So that is not in Grasshopper as such. The output of Grasshopper is going to be shown in Rhino. So you only give your input in Grasshopper to get an output in Rhino.
Yes, so it's similar to how your website design works. You type on HTML, but you get the final product, which is a website interface. So that is how
Absolutely.
it is. And
Absolutely.
when we have to take a certain thing from Grasshopper to Rhino, like we are sure that this is what we want finally, we can bake it and it shifts to Rhino.
Okay.
It becomes editable in Rhino.
Great.
So here for this project, we have this building that has been just a basic building which has just the envelope of the building and has a huge window which requires louvers. So the parameters we are taking here, let me just show you the dimension, or let's say this is the overall dimensions here I had taken was 25 meters by 12 meters building.
Okay.
So that is the size of the building. Doesn't really
Okay.
matter because
Yeah, it's
we're
an
just looking at
example.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are looking at this surface, which currently is a glass surface, and we need a louver. So I'll just quickly do a conventional means. Do you want to tell me how do you think a conventional means works? We want vertical louvers.
So vertical louvers. So typically we kind of do the sunshade diagram. Kind of we do all the calculations as to where the latitude of the building is. We try to figure out what is the orientation of the building, and then according to the sun angle, we figure out where. So also with respect to the orientation, whether the building is west or east, where it will require some kind of a vertical louver as such. But usually for most buildings, a horizontal louver is typically provided based on simple calculations, and usually if it is near the Tropic of Cancer latitude, mostly all the buildings except for the north side orientation
Right.
would have a horizontal louver.
Okay, let's look at this. What you're saying is right. So in terms of drafting it out or making a 3D model, let's say we have figured out that we need a 60 centimeter
Right.
vertical louver.
Absolutely. So
So
so my calculation was to find out that depth of louver. So
yes,
once we have found that out through calculations, then you're telling
yes.
us about how it's drafted. Yes.
Hmm. So I take this one rectangle. Is it visible here? This rectangle that I've drawn here.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
This is a 60 mm. Yeah. Sorry, a 600 mm by 40 mm thick louver,
Right.
and I'm going to extrude this.
Right. This is
I'll
the cross
extrude it.
section of the louver that she's created, and
Yes.
that's now been extruded
And
along
I'm
the.
extruding vertical axis till this point,
Right.
right? And then I'll just array it. The second
Right.
point would be array.
So array means making multiple copies of something in a predefined grid
Yes.
or in a predefined format.
Yes. So if I do a 15, and I don't know how many would fit, but let's try for 15.
Right.
So we do this. Yeah. So this is how the vertical louvers would have fit in.
Right.
Now, if you make this and you realize that the width is not correct, the distance
Right.
between the louvers is not correct,
Right.
so you want to do it again. So it will be a huge task to actually do it again.
Absolutely.
Think
Absolutely.
about really doing it again because you've already made this.
Yes.
And maybe the next thing you could want to do is that all the louvers are in the same, it's again another plane, it's
Right.
flat.
Right.
And you don't know if you want to change the distance, what to do. If you want
Right.
to, let's say at some point, make this thicker. So
Right.
let's say you want to make this one thicker.
Yes.
So you have made this thicker, but how do you ensure that this thickness is repeated all over? One
Yes.
way is to make a block out of
Block
it,
out of it.
so that you edit the block and everything becomes thick. But then if you were to increase each of them separately, independently, how do you do that?
Right.
So now this is how essentially you would have done on a conventional 3D drafting software.
Right.
Or if you were to turn all of these around and make a horizontal lower out of it,
Right.
then how do you instantaneously change that? How
Right.
do you visualize that? So let's look at the same model again, but now we'll go shift to Grasshopper and do the same thing.
Right. So for all the viewers, a direct comparison, you have to pay attention to this part, because what we did in a normal 3D software, normal way, normal model, normal array, normal drafting being done. Now we're going to see the same thing in parametric design, through parametric design tools. And now, Santrupti, please go ahead and tell us.
Yes. So I'll just shift on to the shaded view. It helps me because I can see points. Points don't get rendered. So to start with, this is a 230 thick wall that I've taken, and the blue is the glass that we had. Now we are saying that from the wall, at least about 600 is the distance that you want, but you're going to parametrically design it also. So let's first start by making a surface on this wall, which is the surface which we are expecting to become our this thing, the louver surface. So I have the surface and I wanted to move 0.6 meters away. So I just enter value. The units here are being used in meters. So this is my surface, right? And I want a louver system which starts from this surface and ends at the point of the wall. So I'll just make 2 more points for reference.
So why did we make another
One of them,
surface, by the way?
so the surface is the surface which is, if I just show you here, so you have these louvers.
Yes.
So if you were to, consider this surface, the face of the louvers, the outer face of the louvers, that is
Yes.
that surface that we made.
Understood.
We'll divide it, we'll tweak it.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to take 2 more points of reference. Currently, we're talking about a building. If we were just making the louver, this point would have been automatically snapped as, origin.
Right.
Origin of the world, origin of this entire thing.
Okay.
So here on Grasshopper, I'm going to start saving this surface in one component. So I'm going to set one surface. This is the surface that has been set. Okay. And
Right.
I'm going to select. So I have the surface here already. I'm going to contour this surface. So there's a command called contour. I say that I need to contour these surfaces. This says contour start point. So the start point is this point that we talked about on the surface. So I'll take a point command and I'll set one point. And this point is on the one on this surface. So this one. So this is the.
So just hold on. So, what we are seeing on Grasshopper on the left are these small rectangles, which are surface and point. These are some tangible characteristic of a tangible thing on the model. Surface is a tangible thing. Point is a tangible thing. But on the right side is a bigger rectangle with SPND written and contour written. This is the process that we are going to do on that particular tangible asset or thing that is available on the Rhino model. So this SPND, can you tell us what is SPND?
So if we hover over each of these, it says what it is.
Great.
So this is shape. So this is the surface that we have.
Right.
And then this is the point.
Right.
Which is the origin point for this surface to start the contouring.
Right.
So what contouring does is, if there was a 3D volume, it cuts it into slices.
Right.
Of a certain distance between the slices and a certain number of slices.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
And what is N?
So this is the.
Yeah. Okay. This is the. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
So this is the point. This is the starting point. Where do you want this cutting to start?
Right.
Slicing to start. And then N is the contour normal direction.
Right.
So the direction in which the cutting is being done. So the normal to that direction.
Right.
So if this is a block and you're cutting it in this direction, so the normal is the axis of this block.
Right.
That is the normal direction. So in this case, if you can see here, this is the x-axis is towards that side. So the normal direction was you want it to be sliced in that direction, like that.
Understood.
So the normal direction is unit.
So before that, what is D? Before you go ahead with.
Yes. I'm just fitting in for each of them. D, because as soon as we fit in into D, we'll get the contours. That's the last. So it is distance. Distance between contours. So let's say we're going to keep our louvers 900 apart.
Right.
Let's just take one value. We can change it later. So this is a number slider to feed in any number. Now what I have here, if it's visible, now it is visible.
So just before we go ahead, see what we just did is we have a process that has to be done. And to do that process, we need the things on which we do that process. So in this case, the two
Input
things
parameters.
in the the parameters and also the point on which you do the parameters. So we need to
Right.
have that surface and the point with other tangible assets, and then the process is contouring, and then the other two, n and d, are the other parameters that exist to do that process of contouring. Now
Right.
this contouring is just one such activity or process that is possible as such in this grasshopper, and every different process will have different parameters. So here sp and
Right.
d are the parameters, with n and d being the parameters in the word, in the sense of what parameter is supposed to mean, and s and p are actually the points or the
Tangible
surfaces,
aspects
tangible assets, and the
on
other
which that function or the rule is
function
going to
is
work.
work. So if you
Yes.
remember, anybody who did computers in school, there was this flowchart diagram. In flowchart diagram we had that rectangle which was always the process. So this
Yes.
contour is that rectangle which is the process, because before that you have input, and after that process is an output. So
Right.
this, what is in the middle, is this contour c, and that is which is being constantly being repeated in all the processes that we're going to do in grasshopper. So thank you, Santrupti,
Right.
go ahead.
So, and also this interface is very intuitive. So whenever you hover over anything and it says creates a set of B reps or mesh contours.
Right.
A mesh contour is a three-dimensional contour basically.
Right.
And then ultimately it says it has gotten 26 locally defined values. So 26 of these curves are available. Now, interesting to note here is that, like we talked about 900, which was intuitively we had taken that 900 apart could be the correct answer. But
Right.
let's say parallelly, while you have started designing this, your energy consultant or your climate consultant has come and told you in that architectural office that not 900, but we needed at 600 or 750. So you can
Right.
just slide it, and when you start sliding it, the distance changes. Can you
Absolutely.
see the distance has
Absolutely.
reduced
Absolutely. Absolutely.
quite a lot? So I'll just reverse it to 0.9 at the moment. So this helps you do multiple activities parallelly. So while someone out there is doing your energy calculations and coming and telling you, or shadow analysis and coming and telling you what should be the distance between the contours, you have already started making the contours
Right.
or
Absolutely.
the louvers.
Absolutely. So only thing that
So
you need to do then is just tweak that final value, and everything
exactly.
else is ready. So the beauty, so just to add on, Santrupti, the beauty of this whole thing here is that uh it has beautifully married our very lengthy and difficult drafting process in 3D to the
Right.
ease of logical programming that is possible in
Right.
computer. And when we hear the word programming,
Right.
many people would be scared of it, but because of the intuitive interface of grasshopper, even that has been very easily, it's just very visual, because the creators were clear that people who are going to use this are visual people. So anybody who's an architect, it's very easy for them to get this and understand this and work on it. So yes, Santrupti, go ahead.
Yes. So I've reduced it to 600 so that we see a little more number of these louvers.
Right.
Now, these louvers are, this is the external most surface of the louvers. The purple surface that you see is the outermost surface of the louvers. And we have an inner surface that is the thickness of the louver. So, which we had taken at 600 for the time being. So, we'll offset. Sorry, not offset, but we can project directly. Offset would have also worked, but I want to show you how we can then tweak that offset also. So we are going to do a project. So we take these geometries and project them onto this point. So this surface, if there was an imaginary surface here on the external surface of the actual finished facade, and not the external surface of the louvers. And I have another point here.
So what is this project thing, by the way, if you can repeat it again in the
Yes,
comprehensively in the totality of the whole thing that we've done?
yes. Just a moment. Just a moment. I'll just make a plane out of this and do the project first. Then it'll be easier for you to see. Okay, so it's still, what's happening is the plane is happening on the the default value, which is xy, but we need it on xz. So this is the xz plane, which is parallel to the plane which we were using here for this plane. This plane also, the surface is on the xz plane. So we are going to make a xz instead of this. So any of these commands, when they are taken as default, for example, we took a default surface,
Right.
it happens on the default plane, which is
XY.
xy plane.
Right.
So I can intuitively, now I know, I just wanted to show you this, that now I know that this is happening on the xy plane. We want to change it. So intuitively just type xz plane and it shows you that there exists a xz plane, and you just pull it into P and delete this, and this xz plane is asking you what should be the origin of this plane, and the origin is here,
The point.
this point. So you get this plane here, you get this
Why can't
plane
we?
here.
Why can't we connect it to the previous point that we had mentioned?
Then the plane, okay, I'll just connect it to the previous point and you would see where the plane is. See, the plane has moved to
Okay.
this surface, but we want it to be projected on the other surface, not that surface, right?
Okay.
Now project does this. I'll just simply try and show you what project does. So if I maybe take a sphere, okay, I have the sphere and I have in a different color, let me take a curve, and okay, let me just rotate this curve. Okay, and I want to put this line there on this. So project works like this. If I just project it, project, select the curve to project, select the surface to project onto, and okay, it's just a moment. I'll just take a normal surface. And let's move this above it. So if I show you in perspective what I've done, and it's on some other plane. This curve is on some other plane and the plane itself, the surface itself is somewhere else. So project will basically take a projection of this curve. Now this curve looks long here, but if the projection, the top projection would be a flat thing. So if I do a project here, select, it says select curves and points to project. So this is the curve that I want to project, and this is the surface that I want to project it onto.
So what is the project
you can
then?
see, then the project is taking an orthographic projection of that curve and all the orthographic lines, vertical lines. It's basically dividing this curve onto a number of different units and taking the projection down till it reaches that surface.
Okay.
And whatever you see on that surface is the project. A daily life example of it would be when sun rays fall on earth, because earth is sphere and rays are straight lines, orthographic lines, parallel lines. So they create an elliptical shape. Basically, when you put a torch light on something, you sometimes see an elliptical shape, sometimes you see the perfect circle.
Right.
So it depends on the surface also and the distance and the profile of what is coming out there.
Right.
So that is how a project works. We are going to, we are saying that these lines here, these contour lines here, are getting projected onto the panel behind it. So for example, if I just hide it for the moment so that we can just see these two parts,
So
and we can
project
go to,
basically means projection. And
yes,
here, we had earlier created a contour on a surface, but that was the external surface and not the actual surface where we wanted the thing to start. But it ended there. So, if you were to have
yes,
a lure, it would end on the surface on which we had worked, which was the second surface. But we want to now have those lines projected on the initial surface, because
initial
that is,
surface.
yeah, that is the surface of the glass, if you remember, on which you actually have to do the work
Start,
of creating,
yes,
start the creation of the lure. So, just to rephrase what she's done is once more for all the viewers, just to bring them back, is like we created a plane. We created a plane which was a glass plane. On that there was a point. From that point we created, on the whole surface, a contour, because that contour was to be the array of where the lures are. And those lures, those can be very easily tweaked using the two parameters that we had and the slider of the distance. And this, then there, after, so when this was created on one surface, then another plane was created, that was in a direction parallel to the original surface, so that
hmm,
that surface, you know there is a projection of the initial lines on that surface. And we can start working and connect the two, and we get actual
yes.
louvers that are built up. So please go ahead, Santosh. I hope I
So
explained it the right way.
yes, yes. So what we want is the edge which is on the wall, the inner edge of the slower should always be flat. So
Right,
that is why we have taken this. And then, like he said, whenever we connect these two together, we'll get those lowers.
right,
So logically speaking, the next point would be to connect them. So
right,
we have a command called a ruled surface.
right,
Basically takes two sides of the surface and joins them.
right,
So one edge would be this,
right,
would be the first set of curves,
right,
and the second edge would be this set of curves.
right,
Meanwhile, I've also hidden the rest of it so that we
right,
can see this clearly. So you
right,
see, these are the louvers that are getting prepared now,
right. Absolutely, absolutely.
right? So this, these are the surfaces that are getting prepared.
Right,
Now we want to give a thickness to the surface,
right.
right? So we'll do an extrude these surfaces, and we have to provide a direction. So the direction is, again, that direction there is the x-axis.
Absolutely.
So we need unit x, which is x-axis, and then we need to also know direction plus distance will give us the vector, right? So if we want a let's say 40 mm thick, so that is 0.04 40 mm thick. Ah, so this, you see, we've
Yes.
gotten 40 mm thick contours.
Is it touching the glass?
No, it's not. Currently, I've pushed the glass to a little inwards. It's not
Okay,
exactly touching the glass. We
okay.
can pull the glass towards this
Understood,
surface
understood.
also.
But we did that just so that it's easy to draw and easy to explain.
See, it's easy to see
See,
basically.
basically, understood, understood, understood.
Yeah. Now, interesting things to see here is that these louvers have come out really nicely at some distance that we wanted, and um, I'll just do a show so that we can see all of that. And I'll bake these louvers. Baking means committing to whatever changes we have,
Right.
and I'll take it to which layer? Let me take it to the second layer maybe.
So just like in 3D software we have the thing render, here we are doing something like a bake,
Yes,
which is actually putting whatever we have done into action.
yes. So I'll just copy this here so that we can then change.
Right.
Okay, so what we have gotten, I'll just remove this. This was the reference surface, the
Yes,
top
yes,
surface.
absolutely. It was a reference surface just to get a
Just
distance idea.
yes.
Yeah.
So this group, I've grouped it. I'll shift it to another layer so that we can clearly see it. Um, Okay. So we can clearly see things. These, I'll put it onto. So yeah, so this purple surface was the extra surface.
Right.
I'll just delete it,
Right.
and you can see the lowers,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Now let's look at what else can happen.
Right.
So I'll just push this back onto white layer, and we'll delete that. Oh, just a moment. Button selected. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll delete this one, the first set of contours that we had, the first
Right.
set of, you know, the parameters that we had, and the first set of lowers.
Right.
And just a moment, why is it? Yeah.
Why are we deleting the first set of
So
the louvers?
we had this basic lower. This is the first set of louvers that we had.
Yes.
This is the first variation.
Yes.
Now let's say with your analysis, it says
Understood.
that you didn't
So to-
need a horizontal lower, rather, sorry, a vertical lower, you needed a horizontal lower.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood. So
So
basically the
here
different iterations that we're going to do
is possible.
is possible, and we
Yes.
here you're trying to show us that this is iteration 1, this is iteration 2, iteration
Yes.
3 with the same, you know,
Yes.
change of parameters of the same logic, just so that people can compare and see the different results.
Yes.
Now, you know, there will be
And
some
now-
people, just Santrupti, just a second, there'll be some people who would be thinking that
Yes.
for such a simple thing in which we are very so much easy conditioned and so used to do it in array, and then simply do it, why are we doing such a complicated logic and programming and all that? Because here the problem is very simple. The problem is of just making louvers. We can have very complicated problems where, you know, the best of the 3D drafter.
I'll show you the
Yeah.
last thing that we'll see here.
Yes. Okay, so
Yes.
let's
So
wait.
if you
Let's
were to
wait
have
for
a
that.
horizontal lower instead of a vertical lower,
Yeah.
so the divisions now were along the divisions were initially along the x-axis. We'll move the divisions along the z-axis.
Right.
So the entire code stays the same.
Right.
I'll just shift this one here, and see, we already have the horizontal lowers.
Okay.
If I just
Great.
make the last one.
So can you repeat that shift, please, once more, so that
Yes.
people pay more attention and see? So what she has done is that
Yeah. So these are the vertical louvers.
yes.
This is what we had already.
Yes.
The vertical louvers.
Yes.
Now if I shift it and add a z-axis instead of x-axis,
Right.
we have already shifted into horizontal louvers, and it has
Absolutely.
itself calculated how many louvers do we need.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
So now if I just bake all of this onto layer 2, let's say.
So
or
we have
layer 1.
bypassed that Z plane, because Z plane is the not normal. The default is the X plane. So we had created a separate Z plane so that we
Yes.
can have vertical louvers, but to have it horizontal, we just use the default value, which is the horizontal louvers, X axis, right?
No, z-axis. We have added a new z-axis.
Yeah, but the default value was the X axis, where the horizontal louvers have been built. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So we had done a
So
Z axis
then
only for the
we-
vertical louvers.
No. The z-axis was for the horizontal louvers, because what this z-axis and x-axis do is they are perpendicular to the direction of the louvers. So for
Okay.
vertical louvers, the perpendicular direction is x-axis.
X
For
axis.
horizontal louvers, it is z-axis.
Great. Okay. Understood.
So now you see two things. This is a vertical lower, this is a horizontal lower.
Yes.
Now here I'll just delete the instance of the horizontal lower.
Right.
And okay, there is another thing that we can do. Let
Right.
me just bake this here. I'll bake this again to layer 1. Okay, and then I'll shift the horizontal to vertical, and I'll bake it again.
Right.
Do you know what we'll get? While if we won't delete one and then we bake two of them together.
We'll get horizontal and vertical
guess?
louvers. which is a
like a
egg crate
waffle
design.
slab kind of a thing.
Yeah. So this
Yes.
particular thing is called a egg crate design, which is also called Brise Soleil in French, because Le Corbusier, who designed
Yes.
Chandigarh, he used Brise Soleil. That means vertical and horizontal together, and this is what we get, an egg crate design.
Yes. So
Great.
you could have changed the distances and instead of squares made rectangles out of them. Now let us look at something which is the most interesting for me. I'll just delete these extra ones
Surfaces.
and we can make the egg crate. Okay, now we have this surface. Now is something that is probably the magic of parametric design. I'll do a rebuild command. Rebuild gives me the allowance to have more points on the surface, to tweak the surface. So let's say I have 5 and 5 points, and now I'll do a show control points. I can see
Right.
these control points.
Right.
Now I'm just tweaking the surface. Okay, so I changed the surface. I am tweaking the surface. Just a moment. Yeah, then I'll. So let's say there was a curve. You are trying to get that curve design, and
Right.
so I'm selecting a few points and moving them. Now, if this was something that your schematic designer changes the design and you want to still make the louvers,
Right. Then it's going to be a big time problem, because then you'll have to do it manually, and it's going to take a lot of time, and you cannot redo again
you have to
based on
divide
parameters.
this, and
Yes.
yeah,
So this is what
so
this
you
is
can
what
keep.
this is what is the beauty of parametric design. When it looks easy, when we were just talking about louvers, you said like we could just simply do it with 3D software. But the moment you complicated the design, you complicated the form of the the louver system, then now to make changes, for example, if you could show us the sliding now in the curved thing, and you can see simultaneously what's going to
Okay,
happen.
let's not. Okay, so let's change the distance between the louvers.
Yes,
Do you see it moving?
absolutely,
So if I
absolutely.
increase the distance versus if I decrease the distance a lot.
Yes,
So if you were to also build this entire thing using surfaces, this
right,
is how you would build it. So
absolutely,
let's get back to 600.
right.
And now if I bake it, because it's using the exact same logic every time, so it doesn't matter how many different iterations we make. Now, yeah. So if I take this whole thing again as one more iteration,
Right.
and of course the surface that we moved right now and tweaked it, there are n number of ways to tweak that surface.
Right.
See, I'll delete this top surface that we have.
Right.
One. And what we get now is this. Wait, I'll just zoom into this.
Right.
Yeah. So you get this dynamic character to the louver.
Right.
And each of these louvers can then be prefabricated. Now you can just directly laser cut all these louvers, lay
Absolutely.
them onto a laser cutting file, and
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
have some detail done. So even that exact egg crate design can also be made here.
Right.
I'm not deleting this that was there. And
So
if you
just a
remember, we'll
moment,
just
just a
shift.
moment, Santrupti. So if any of the viewers want to learn more about parametric design, or want you are doing a project in which you need some help for parametric design, or there is some kind of a professional project going on which requires parametric design, in the description are the details of Santrupti. You are most welcome to contact her and consult her for parametric design related work. Yeah, Santrupti.
Yeah. So I just reversed that, what we did for egg crate design, to just show you that even egg crate in such a curved or a undulating curve is possible. So see, now you have the egg crate here.
Wow.
something which is very complex to look at in terms of, if you were to do it on a different kind of a software to actually build this.
Right.
It's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but
Absolutely, but
to
it's so difficult.
get all of these together, you know, so a basic vertical lower, a basic horizontal lower, an egg crate, and one which is like a curved surface.
Right.
So see, then it becomes a very interesting space. Now this was a louver, but while you're designing, you realize that a certain part of it also looks very interesting as a shelving component.
Absolutely.
So then in a new design, you can think of it as, shelves that are fixed to a wall.
Right.
And you get that very dynamic character to the wall.
Absolutely.
And the fun fact is, now that the code is ready, let's say you then, this is one project you did, okay?
Right.
And then you get another project on which you have another surface here,
Right.
which is, let's say, this kind of a shape.
Right.
I'll just rotate it onto the vertical plane. So you have this surface.
Right.
Okay, so if you change the surface here, set one value, right? And it's okay, so it's contouring in the horizontal axis. We'll
Right.
take it in the vertical axis. Okay, so, and we need to increase the distance.
Right.
So you see, we get that same thing.
Right.
It's taken it far away because of this point. So if I add another point somewhere close by,
Right.
and basically the two things you required were the one point. See, now you got that.
Absolutely.
Now you got vertical louvers for new surface.
Right.
And then this surface can be rebuilt again. So because the code is now made, now it doesn't matter how many surfaces you have. You just always rebuild it, add points, pull these points out.
Right.
See.
So, for all those architects who have, certain styles, certain facade design that they keep repeating in various buildings, like I know of architects who have a particular style of an arc, like, they keep repeating that in all the residences that they do. You just have to do that great design programming once, and then in every project you can have parts of that in the surfaces of that particular project, multiple projects, and it'll make your life so easy. You don't have to redraft all the time.
Now the question that you were asking me, that why did we have that inner surface, is you can look at it here now. So that the inner edge is always flat. So
Right.
this component basically becomes a little bigger.
Right.
So whenever you have something which is coming out, it's a wider component instead
Right.
of becoming a thin and a curve like that.
Right.
So that is what it is.
Absolutely.
And you see the first stage here that we had, which was just one variation, and to think of the next variation would have been a task.
Right.
Here you're able to keep on placing, and these are just 4 or 5 variations that we have taken out. Each time you change the curve or each time you tweak the surface a bit, you can keep adding more variations.
Absolutely.
And also, if you were to just tweak this surface itself, so, or okay, we have this as, so if I do a show here and we have this surface, okay, I'm going to scale the surface a bit like that. See, the thing changed, everything changed.
Absolutely.
Is it visible?
Right, it's visible.
Yeah. So you can keep tweaking the surface after you've made the code. So you already know that no matter what my surface is going to look like, I'm going to have louvers which are at 900 mm distance from each other, and they're going to be 40 mm thick. So you fix certain things, And then it's interesting to do this. It's
Right.
interesting to pull these out and say that the user is allowed to only change these two things,
Right.
the final surface and this, and subsequently this point.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
you can tell them that, all of this, rest of this is grouped. I'll
Absolutely.
group it. Yeah. So just a moment. Okay. So this much can get grouped. Yeah. So I can group all of this. So now you know that you don't have to tweak anything in this, and the same code can be used multiple times for over different projects.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, this is like amazing. I mean, just imagine the kind of versatility, the kind of flexibility, the kind of ease of working, the kind of, logical way of working, the kind of uh, accessibility that a architect or a designer has with this parametric tool. It's amazing. And today we actually displayed in this video, thanks to Santrupti, who did a great job. We actually displayed how a mundane task which was being done on CAD, which on 3D CAD or any 3D software, can be automated and changed, tweaked, and everything else, which will make it so easy for anybody to do so much with design. So the potential of parametric design is immense, and immense is a understatement, because people are using parametric design for all kinds of work, and not only, mind it, not only for the form point of view. There are future, there is something like Ladybug, which is added on to Grasshopper to do the functional requirement, change the functional requirements of spaces. That you actually tweak the louvers with respect to the sun's angle, and the different louver shapes in the different parts of the building automatically get aligned to the sun's angle because of that additional plugin. So the level at which we are dealing with parametric right now is immense. So if you have not already jumped into parametric design, you have to make that leap right now. And if you want the initial help in making that leap, you're free to contact our instructor Santrupti Das, who's excellent at telling you how parametric design works. If you want to learn parametric design, if you want to do use parametric design in a project or any consultancy service related to parametric design, the details are right in the description below. We did a great job today. Thank you, Santrupti. Great job in explaining a difficult concept, which might be like a barrier to people, in very easy way, and in a very good example where you used something that architects, designers deal on a daily basis, like a louver design in a normal building. So very good comparison and very good way of explaining. Thank you, Santrupti. You want to say
Thank
something
you.
as a message to the viewers to conclude this video?
I think it's just that one step when you jump into parametric design, because then you start thinking of everything in that way. You know that, whatever I design for the first time is not the final thing, and we can keep on doing new things because we have this tool.
Right.
So yeah, it just takes you to one step to just download the tool and start using it.
Right. Absolutely. So thank you to all the viewers. There is a link of the previous video which you should see as the first video in the description below. That should be the first video that you see. But if you landed to this video, this is also great because we have covered the basics of how the screen works, how the different parts of parametric design, the Grasshopper tool, the Rhino, how they're interlinked and how they work. So great. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.